We got NASCAR at Dover. Kyle Busch on the pole. Spoiler alert. I think we're fading Busch, right? We're fading Busch?
I think so.
All right, let's do it. What is up, guys? Welcome to the Edge DFS. My name is Tyson Smith, joined by Sterling Theiss and Ryan Mahle from Dynasty DNA. What is up, guys? Ryan, you're coming off of an all-nighter at work. You got more energy than we do. Sterling, how are you, brother? How are you guys?
Hopefully we be better here around 2 o'clock. This race kicked off.
Yeah.
So what do we need to know about this race? Like, comparison to other tracks, like DFS wise, are we focusing on a couple dominators? Like mentally, how are we preparing for a race like this DFS wise?
Yeah, it's a 400 lap race, so you do need some dominators. You definitely don't want to be left out there. And like I said, like we were talking pre-show, it's kind of Bristol's bigger brother, basically a bigger Bristol. It's the Monster Mile. It's a mile long, so they have Miles the Monster is the statue outside. So that's about it. How about you, Stir?
Yeah, I went back through and looked at the optimal lineups going back to 2018, and they all had at least 2 dominators, 1 main dominator. But we're gonna have roughly 263 dominator points. So I have it written up here that we'll be looking for 2 to 3, but with all their PD plays today, I could see 1 main dominator and then these place differential guys.
So make sure you guys are in the Dynasty DNA Discord. Also, jump in the Edge Discord. Sterling's got his write-up already up. We're going to pull that up during the show here. That's all free stuff, guys. So, take advantage of that. That's pretty awesome write-up that he does every week. So let's jump into some graphics here. Let's look at some info here. So looking on Draftkings Sportsbook, looks like Larson's up there. Hamlin, as far as odds to win. Byron, little Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch here, plus 800. So look, let's talk about Busch here. So, I mean, just pure luck that he qualified that well. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, should we read into this? Like, does he have a fast car today? Is it just pure luck? Like, what do you guys think about this? Because based on what you guys have told me pre-show, we're probably fading him. Is this a situation where he holds up for a bit and then he kind of just falls back? Or is he, 7th, 10th within the first couple minutes of this race?
Yeah, if I were a betting man, and I guess we kind of are, but I would say that he probably, might take off kind of fast and then just kind of fade. I mean, last year he did the same thing. It was a Monday race, so there was not a stage caution, but a competition caution. So he came into pit during that, and he I don't remember if it was a penalty or if it was something happened on pit road, but then we never saw him again the whole race. So I'm expecting something along them lines that basically he just fades. So that's how I plan for it, but.
Yeah, that's the same way I'm looking at it. He's been pretty vocal about this car not being great for them. So I feel like now that he has shown he's got somewhat of a decent car today, he's going to ruin it himself by pit road mistakes.
Yeah.
So Truex is third, according to odds here, to win this one. Let's talk about some narratives here. His brother won the Xfinity race last night, right? So, and you guys mentioned pre-show that last year they pulled a Truex sweep. It was this track, wasn't it?
Yep. It was this track. Ryan got the win on Saturday and Martin got the win on Sunday. So, or maybe it was the Monday race. I don't remember, but
I think it was.
It might have been that Monday race we were talking about with Kyle Busch. But still, I mean, they got the win in the same weekend. So, tinfoil hat on. I mean, it could happen again. So Truex does look pretty fast here.
So
yeah, this is
sorry, Sterling. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, you're good. It's a track Truex has always been pretty decent at, high tire wear, so that's something that plays into his wheelhouse, and I can see Martin Truex having a good day today from 15th.
So we got Kyle Busch, Blaney, Byron, Reddick, Gregson, Hamlin. Who else jumps out to you here in the top 10? And we'll talk about some guys in the back here in a second, like a guy like Christopher Bell, who he wrecked in qualifying, right? And he's now in the rear for repairs. But let's talk about the top 10 first. Who's jumping out to you here? Who are you considering as kind of fade guys that are going to probably fall back?
Honestly, outside of Hamlin in the top 10, I really like Bowman going into the weekend, but I don't know if I trust him enough to move forward enough to be a DFS play. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bowman's not up there towards the end. But I won't lie, I don't have any of them in DFS just because I don't really trust it.
Yeah, it's at 9,300. I don't know if I can play Bowman. I loved him coming into the week, but when prices came out, I was like, damn.
Yep. And I think everybody else kind of out qualified themselves. I mean, Briscoe might stay around there. McDowell's probably going to fade. Allmendinger, I could see fading too. So
Yeah,
there's really no one else in that range that I really like.
I think it's pretty much just the top four. Well, we're fading Kyle Busch, so basically Blaney, Byron, Reddick, and I could see a little bit of Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
Anybody else? So let's look at the mid-range here. Let's look at some of these PD guys at the back. We talked about Christopher Bell. Are you guys interested in getting to Bell here? I mean, he qualified 33rd, and now he's at the back. Does that really matter? And also, what are we doing with Bell? It seems like, does he have an opportunity to really pull off some points by just moving up in the top 15? Like, what are you thinking?
He definitely does, and this is one of those. Sterling pulled up the ownership projections, and he's projected to be 40% owned. So I looked for that King Sheets DFS to see where he would have to finish to be optimal, but he didn't have any. But I don't know if Sterling could do the math real quick or anything like that. But I don't know where he'd have to finish. But I fully faded him just because he's going to be 40% owned. We don't know how they did repair the car. He wrecked it in qualifying. You just don't know. I mean, how great was it repaired? Does something else go wrong with it? Why did he wreck in the first place? Because I mean, he is a good driver. I mean, did he get loose? Was it a mistake? Was there something else with the car? So I'm gonna fade him and hope that he just hovers around that 15th to 20th range, and kind of just doesn't get up to the front.
Yeah, he'll need roughly a 12th place to meet 5x value, but I don't know if that would be enough to make him optimal. I feel like you're gonna see a lot of ownership. Obviously, go to him, Larson, Chastain, Elliott, but with him starting 33rd, he's obviously got their highest floor. But I don't know. I feel like he has to finish top 5, maybe top 7 to actually be in the winner, and I don't know if I see that.
And the thing is, I mean, I don't know if you have the thing pulled up, but I don't think this is like one of his. For some reason, I feel like we were talking about this during our podcast. Was like, I don't think this is a Christopher Bell type track.
See, it's weird because I was thinking the same thing, so I went back and looked, and in the next gen races, he finished 6th and 4th. So,
oh, okay, never mind then. Maybe it was true. Reddick we were talking about.
Yeah,
never mind. I got them too confused.
So we've been talking a little bit about pre-show about Chase Elliott here. It seems like he's in a good spot. What's his ownership coming in at? And it feels like Chase Elliott, at least Sterling, is pretty high on Chase Elliott. Ryan, similar thoughts?
Yeah. Yep. I tried to Ross and Elliott, and I had another guy in that range. I tried to fit one of them into every lineup. Yeah. Ross. Yeah. Ross, Chase, and Blaney. I tried to fit one of them in every lineup, but I think Chase was my priority that I had most of. So yeah, I'm high on Chase too. This is one of his better tracks. He runs good on concrete in general. So I really like Chase Elliott today. And he's got the place differential to kind of add some points to him. So
yeah, I think Elliott is set up very similar to Texas, and we've seen what happened there. He starts 29th. He finished 11th in the first year in the next gen era. He has 2 wins and 13 career starts. So I'm all over Chase Elliott again this week.
So are we getting mid-range guys? Are we going heavy dudes in the back? Like, what's the general strategy here? It seems like we want to get at least one of these dudes in the top, 4? Maybe we create a rule for that minus Bush. And then are we just sprinkling dudes in across the field here? Or are we focusing on guys in the back? What's our strategy here, Sterling?
These guys in the mid range, it's kind of tough for me to be honest. I think the guy that sticks out the most to me is Chris Buescher. He showed decent speed in practice. He's another one of them guys that he's always been pretty good on the concrete. He's been great at Bristol, and we already mentioned this is fairly similar to Bristol. He finished 9th and 8th in the next gen era here, and at 8K, he doesn't really have to do anything crazy. Just move forward, and I think we can see another top 10 out of Chris Buescher.
See, I'm actually more on his teammate Brad Keselowski.
He's got a higher floor.
He's got a higher floor. He starts 6 positions farther back, and he also, like, that veteran, like Bristol, he finished 2nd. Like, he's good at conserving tires. He's a veteran. He's been around the block. So I feel like Brad's a little bit safer, but I definitely don't like dog you for the, picking Buescher, but I like the Brad over Buescher. I have some Buescher, but I have more Brad.
I think Reddick will be an interesting play in that range too.
Yeah.
Pretty decent way to get different there.
All right, guys.
Yeah,
so
he was my GPP guy. Like, I'd sprinkle Reddick in for GPPs just because that's a little bit different.
So let's get into this breakdown. Saber Sim, for whatever reason, it's about 8:50 a.m. on Sunday, a handful of hours before the race. I've got nothing on Saber Sim, so we're just going to pull up Sterling's breakdown here, and we're going to get into our breakdown. Let's do it. Break it down. All right, so Kyle Larson at 11.5K is the most expensive. You got Truex, Byron, all these guys are over 11K. Hamlin's creeping up there. Christopher Bell at 10.5K. He's going to pull the ownership in. He's at the back, like we were talking about earlier. Feels like a good opportunity to fade a guy. When you say fade, are you unchecking this dude? Are you hedging? If you're building any cash lineups or single entry type builds, are you going to hedge with Bell? It does scare me to fade a guy like that, but also we got to make some bold moves here, specifically with a guy like him who's going to be that expensive and that high owned. What jumps out to you here with all these top end expensive dudes here? Seems like we get to a little bit of Truex here, just narrative base wise. Are we overthinking it here? But the dude's good on this track.
The dude is very good on this track. Yeah, I mean, I was full fade on Bell. Are you full fade on Bell?
I'm going to have some. I won't be a complete fade. He might be in my main lineup just because I'm going to do a lot of higher dollar single entry stuff. But if I was maxing out the 15 again, I would probably be like 20%, no more.
Okay. Yeah. I made like 15 lineups so far. I didn't have any Bell in it. So, but yeah, I mean, I sprinkled in some Larson, Truex, and Byron and Hamlin. I sprinkled in all of them guys. So tried to fit 2 in if you could, just because, but it's tough.
I think a good start would be Larson and Byron in this range.
Yeah. See, Larson's got the place differential. Truex got the place differential. So I tried to pick one of them, and then I tried to pick a Byron and Hamlin because I feel like them guys are up towards the front, so you can get some dominator points out of either one of them guys. So I don't have any, I don't think, where I went Larson and Truex. So
Anybody else in, these top end guys? It seems like to me, Sterling, based on your write up here at this track, we're probably going to want to work on trying to max out our salary today. Is that what you're seeing? Is that your strategy for this one? And with all these expensive ass dudes, well, what do we got to do to work that out? It feels like we can just max things out as much as possible. Is that right?
Yeah, I'd probably set my men's salary at like definitely 49, maybe more like 49.4.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else to talk about here up top here? Like, obviously, what's Larson's ownership coming in, Sterl?
Right around 32.
Anybody else in this top, 10K or above range that is maybe coming under owned that we think we can get some leverage on? What about Hamlin? I mean, he's always probably going to be over 20+% owned, probably, right?
Yeah, he's 25 and Chastain's roughly 25 also. Chastain's kind of an interesting GPP play. I don't think I played him in cash, but he's kind of a way to get different from everybody else, and he does run good here. So, but I feel like that's kind of a different.
Yeah, I think Chastain's going to go lower owned than that, actually, just because he's right there between Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott, and I think people are going to click on them before they click on Chastain. So I plan to try to get over the field on Ross Chastain. He did finish second and third here in the two next gen races, so he gets around here pretty well.
Yeah.
All right, so these guys under 10K up here: Chase Elliott 9,900, Blaney 96, Bowman, you mentioned him earlier, Kyle Busch is 9K. So he's not priced too crazy. What is his ownership coming in, Kyle Busch wise?
25.
Interesting. Do you feel that that's too low? Like, I know we're gonna fade him, but just strategy wise, what ownership would he need to come in at for you to actually kind of change your opinion on him?
Oh, I don't know.
That's tough. Yeah, that's
like if it was maybe 10%. Would you say?
If he was 10%, I would definitely have interest in him. But 25, that's like right there in the middle where like I want to play him, I don't want to play him. But like we said earlier, I'm not playing him. But if he comes in at like 15 to 20%, I'm gonna be a little upset that I didn't play him.
Yeah, because like one thing I take into consideration too is like that pit crew is horrible.
Not only the pit crew, but how many times do we see him speed?
Yeah, he
something
speeds
stupid.
And this is a track. This isn't like a talent where they don't have to pit. Like this is a race that they're gonna pit every time there's a caution. So every time there's a caution, they're gonna come down pit road, and that's just what is there like probably a 30% chance that something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
I don't have it pulled up right now, but last time I looked, that pit crew is ranked like 31st. So
yeah, so that's one of the main reasons. And then they just haven't RCR just hasn't found the speed yet this year. So until I'm gonna let them beat us, let them beat me at least before
I think the temperatures being cooler yesterday played a big factor in him laying down the lap time he did.
Yeah, that definitely could be. It could be the temperature because we do have a 20-degree temperature swing. You said, right?
Yeah, maybe even a little more.
So we definitely are going to see cars handle a little bit different, but I think the fast cars will still be fast. But
that's a good point that you brought up. I mean, we saw a little bit of rain last night or yesterday for that Xfinity race. It doesn't seem like we're going to get any weather issues today, right? Is that what you guys are saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be all right. I didn't see any rain on the radar.
So
like a 5% chance.
The only reason I bring up Busch's ownership is because it feels like there's a lot of smart people out there who are going to be building with fading Busch. So, like, is there a chance that we hit lock and Busch is like 13% owned or something, even though he's being projected much higher? Because everybody's going to probably go to fade him, right?
I could definitely see that. Yeah, I mean, if it's one of those where you're making 20 lineups or so, I mean, maybe throw one or two in of them. I wouldn't hate that. But like I said, I made 15 personally, and I didn't have any.
I plan on running 20 lineups today, and I don't plan on having any of them. But I think we see him more like 20%.
Got it. All right. Busher here around 8K. Let's talk about any of these other guys in this range that jump out to you. Logano, Keselowski, Bubba Wallace. Anybody jump out to you in this, 7-ish range up to 8K?
I really like Ty Gibbs. That was a guy I was really on. I have a high ownership of him. Reddick's another guy I feel like you can get different with.
Yeah, really, the biggest guy in that range that I do not like is Joey Logano. He's never ran very well here, and he did actually show pretty decent speed in practice. But I'm gonna just kind of say that was because of the weather. 'Cause I don't see him carrying that speed into today. But
Yeah.
like Muscle said, I do like Ty Gibbs. I do like Tyler Reddick. Could make an argument for Bubba Wallace, but really for me, it's Chris Buescher, BK, Gibbs, and Reddick.
Yeah. Bubba, I feel like he's going to run around there the entire race, maybe crack the top 10, but I don't really see much above that. And then, yeah, Joey, just the Fords just haven't been fast yet this year, really. So he's another one I'm going to let the Fords beat us because they haven't got a win yet this year. So
Really, the Fords have not gotten a win?
no,
I didn't even realize that.
It's
been close, but just not.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so Blaney and him's gotta do something here soon.
All right, let's keep moving down the list here. Anybody else jumping out to you? Barry, Briscoe, Gregson, Dillon. Anybody in this range? Like, what are we doing value-wise here even? Like, with all these expensive dudes that we probably want to get involved, we're going to have to find some value that we're comfortable with. Any value jumping out to you, Sterling?
Yeah, got a hit on Daniel Suarez there at 6,700. He's starting 31st, and in the last 4 races, he's finished top 10. So he's always ran well here. It's going to be a warmer day today. He tends to run a little better when it's warm out. So I don't know if that's something from him being used to running down in Mexico, but Daniel Suarez is hands down my favorite play in that range.
100%, me too. And then I actually like I sprinkled in a few Stenthouses because I feel like he could run around there.
He's definitely my second favorite in that range.
And then Ryan Preece is a guy that I like. I mean, he's got the SHR equipment for $6,400. He could definitely, I could see him finishing in the top 15. I would say that's probably his ceiling, and I could easily see him doing that. I mean, he is a short track racer, so
yeah, I like Ryan Preece on tracks like this for sure.
Yeah,
and the rest of his team qualified top 12, so they brought speed yesterday. So
yeah, and then as far as other values, I really like John Hunter Nemechek. He showed a little bit of speed in practice. He's starting 34, so he has a safe floor. Carson Hocevar starting 20th, so he could burn you, but he also showed a lot of speed in practice. And then any other values? I know Gilliland.
Yeah, when we get the whole way down to the bottom there, I like a lot of Harrison Burton this week. He's been decent here. He's always finished around 20th. But I feel like today's a Harrison Burton day.
I could see that. I played a little bit of Todd Gilliland, just because he showed decent speed. I don't want to say he's fast, but he showed decent. And then also he's just one of them ones that always seem to stay out, always seems to have a different strategy. So it's like he always seems to lead laps and just, because he'll just do something off the wall to where he just goes out and leads a bunch of laps. So if he leads laps, that's good for us. And then Zane Smith also, I mean, he starts dead last. So his floor is high, and he showed also decent speed. But those are the only guys for me. And then, like you said, Harrison Burton. So
with a guy like Harrison Burton and just generally on this slate, how spread out are you? You know, like when you say you like Harrison Burton, is that 25% exposure? Are you going massive over the field? And how spread out do we need to be on this one? Is this a 80%, sort of day, or are we maxing dudes out at a much lower than that?
I'm seeing Burton projected for around 11%. I'll probably be at least double that, probably closer to triple. But overall, I'm playing light today just because of the starting lineup. So I would probably aim to not really be more than 30 to 40% on anybody because with the temperatures being, they were in the 50s yesterday for practice and qualifying. They're going to be in the high 70s, low 80s today. So we're going to have a completely different track. Cars are going to handle completely different. We kind of don't really know what to expect today. I think we're going to see a lot of comers, a lot of goers. So for me, it's just, I'm going to play light and just get ready for Kansas next week.
Let's talk about some of these optimal lineups here that have jumped out to you. Obviously, this isn't an absolute rule of thumb, but looking at some of the ways that DraftKings has priced these guys in the past at this track, like we said earlier, 49.8, 49.6, 50K, 49.6. I mean, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of optimal lineups that are really under 49, like we were talking about. So max out our salary, spread ourselves out. The whole 9 set of tire thing, that's obviously playing into it. This feels like a situation where they can eat up the tires quite a bit in this race. So we probably want to just be spread out. Like when it comes to wrecks and things like that at this track, like caution wise, is this above average for, what are you thinking as far as that whole situation goes?
There's like a decent amount. I don't want to say it's a wreck fest. I know when I actually personally went here a couple years ago, and I think there was 2 wrecks during the race. So, and that was it. That's about normal, about like the Xfinity race yesterday. There might be a couple wrecks.
Yeah, Dover normally runs fairly clean for the most part. I went back through and over the last 10 races, they have ran an average of 37 caution laps. So we should see most of this race go green.
So Sterling, let's talk about these speedster points. Let's talk about that. Break down some of this info that you've shown us here on the breakdown.
Well, I think most people know you get a quarter of a point for a lap led. So there's 400 laps. So we're looking at 100 points up for grabs for leading laps. Then, like I said here, in the past 10 races, we've averaged roughly 37 caution laps. So let's take that away from the 400 laps, and that'll give us roughly 163 points for fastest laps. So that's where we get roughly 263 speedster points, which is what brought us to the idea of looking for 2 to 3 dominators in this race.
Rankings. Let's talk about this. You've got an 11.5K to 9.3K tier here. Brian Blaney, Byron, Elliott, Larson, Chastain in that order. Now you've got Christopher Bell here. Ranking wise, he's up there, but you're choosing to fade him just simply because of his ownership and pricing. From just a racing side of things, he's probably one of these top end dudes, but you're choosing to fade him because of that ownership. Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Anything else? Sorry, go ahead, bro.
That's all I had on him. I just think it's ownership play today.
So make sure you guys jump in the Discord, in the Dynasty DNA Discord. That link is down below, so check that out. You guys can pull this up and look at this while you're building. You can look deeper into these rankings that Sterling put up here. But let's talk about the core. Sterling, let's talk about your core here. Blaney, Elliott, Busher. When you say core, are you making a rule for this? Are you just going out of your way to, when you're hand building, making sure you're getting like 2 of these guys in? Like these guys are probably going to be your highest owned. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, Chase Elliott is probably going to be my highest owned, and then followed by Blaney and then Busher. But that's each of my builds will definitely have at least one of these guys, whether it be Blaney or Elliott. Chris Busher is the one I'll be the lightest on, but I still plan on getting over the field on him.
So you talked a lot about Burton here. That's your value guy. You're probably going to be 30% potentially. Your fade is Bell, but in addition, we know you're fading Bush. That's just obvious. Ryan, thoughts on this core here? Blaney, Elliott, Gibbs. So pretty similar here. Looks like we're all going to be pretty heavy on Blaney and Elliott. You're going with a guy like Gibbs. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Ty Gibbs he's shown a lot of speed, and I feel like one of these races he's going to put it all together, and it could be a race like this. I could be wrong, but starting 19th. I mean, he's in JGR equipment, so he might move forward. I feel like so. Yeah, and then Blaney showed a lot of speed here at Dover in the past, and Elliott has too. So, and then Elliott's got the place differential, and Blaney's starting second, so it could he could overtake Bush fairly quick. So that's what we're hoping for.
All right, let's get into our crown their ass here. Let's do it.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Sterling, you're going Elliott. Ryan, you're going Hamlin here. Let's talk about this. Ryan, we haven't talked a ton about Hamlin. He didn't make your core. This is kind of your bold take on who's going to win the race, right?
Yeah, after I made my core there, I got to thinking of it, and so the top 2, I would say, tire wear races this year have been won by Denny Hamlin. I mean, he won at Bristol, and Richmond was kind of controversial. Maybe he shouldn't have won that, but he also won that one. So it's like he knows how to save tires. As far as racing IQ, I feel like he's one of the smartest in the field. So starting 6, conserving tires. I don't know. I feel like he could be he's one of them that he's kind of like a closer. He's always there at the end. He might not show his hand all at first, but he'll be there at the end.
So Sterling,
what do you think?
Yeah, thoughts on Hamlin here? What's going to be your exposure to Hamlin here?
I think I'm going to be close to a fade. He's one of them guys that I'm afraid of not having, but for me up front there, I think it's going to be all Blaney and Byron for me. A little bit of Reddick just because of his price.
I feel like I can never get Hamlin.
That's what makes this track hard.
Yeah,
it does make this track hard, and especially with the way the way the field is, it could be anybody.
Yeah, if the lineup was different, I might have more Hamlin. It's just today, I'm kind of all over the place on what to do for this.
I feel like I can never get Hamlin right. Like whenever I go heavy on him, he crashes out at the end, and when I'm like completely fading, he just quietly wins the race, and I don't know how the hell he does it.
I agree.
Sterling, Chase Elliott, I know we talked a lot about him. Anything else to add here on why you're gonna so high on him, and what do you think you're gonna end up on him exposure wise? I know we're spread ourselves out probably 30-35% max on these guys. You gonna be over that, or are you gonna be right around the field on that?
Yeah, I plan to be over that. He's definitely going to be in my main lineup. I'll probably be, like I said, I'm only running 20 lines today, and I'll probably have him in 12 to 15 of them.
Let's get to our fade here.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Bush, if you've been watching the show so far, we're fading Bush. There's always a chance that maybe everybody's fading Bush and his projected ownership is a little bit lower than we all expected. But a guy starting out front like that, he's going to have to win the race to really pay off, especially up in that 9K range. Let's move on to, let's build a lineup. You guys want to build a lineup? Let me pull this up here. Briefly talk about any other guys while I'm pulling this up. Briefly talk about any other guys that you're just out on, even if it's obvious dudes that you're just unchecking.
Let me switch things up here. For me, it's going to be guys like Gregson, Chase Briscoe. I'm kind of in between on here. Michael McDowell not playing. AJ Allmendinger not playing. Austin Cindric. What do you think about Austin Cindric?
I think he overqualified.
Yeah. Josh Berry, he's another one I'm in between on there. Already said I'm not playing Logano. Hemrick, you can't play him. Starting 14th.
No.
What do you think about? We didn't really kind of skipped Austin Dillon. What do you think about him?
I can't do it. He's never really showed speed here, and he didn't show speed in practice. So I'm out on him. He could beat us, but he's one of them that, I mean, if you sprinkle in a little bit, I'm not mad about, because I mean they do roll the dice a lot. In a high tire wear track, he could be one that with 10 to go, he could stay out while everybody else pits, and he could hold on to like a top 5. But
Yeah,
I don't have any of them.
So
either.
Throw us a like, guys. Let's get to 30 likes for this video. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe. We're doing a NASCAR show, whether it's on Saturday night or Sunday morning every week here. Let's jump into a build here. So you guys want to build like a single entry, like a higher dollar single entry build, and not be as worried about ownership. Maybe get different in 1 or 2 spots here. You want to build that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, who are we starting with here?
All right, go ahead, Stir. Lead us off.
Let's road Elliott in there.
All right.
900.
Let's throw single entry. Let's go Larson. We'll just go at the top.
Like it.
All right. Elliott, Larson, both starting 20th or back. We want to get one of these guys in the top 4 up in here, or what do you think?
Yeah, what do you think? I kind of want to we got to go Blaney. I guess he's in both cores.
Let's do it. Can we fit all?
We're gonna have to get weird. We're gonna have to.
Oh yeah, we could do it. Oh yeah, for sure. All right, you're gonna go Blaney. I will go. Let's go Zane Smith.
Zane Smith.
Yep, that's a high floor.
We going Harrison Burton here too, and then we're probably in that 7K range as the last spot, or is Zane Smith and Burton together too much?
No, I definitely don't think. And then you could go Ty Gibbs if you wanted, or you could go Tyler Reddick or Busher, whichever you want, Sterling. Actually, I kind of like that range right there.
Instead of going Burton, let's go Suarez.
I like it. And
I would put us at like Stenhouse or Priest.
Stenhouse or Priest. Let's go Priest. High floor. There's single entry. You want the floor.
So Elliott, Larson, Blaney, those are the expensive guys. Mixing in some 5K and 6K guys. Zane Smith, Suarez, Priest. We got about $600 left. That feels about right. Let's do a tournament build here. Let's get a little bit more weird with it. So, is this another? You want to just plug in? You want to plug in Chase Elliott here right off the bat?
Yeah.
So, do we want to go more mid range with these guys instead of getting 3 like expensive dudes? Do we want to leave out Larson or Blaney in this build?
Yeah, for GPP builds, I love the idea of playing Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, I did too. I played a lot of him in GPPs. And then, do we have enough to do Ross Chastain?
Yeah, we might. And put us at 72 for 3 spots.
That's not bad. And then,
I'm assuming Burton here, right? Sterling?
Burton might be a good play for GPPs. I doubt a lot of people are high on him.
I don't think he's going to be that high end either now.
No, so 83. What's in the 88,000?
We could do like Gibbs and Busher.
Yeah, you could do Gibbs and Busher.
Yeah, that works.
So we're really, I mean, this is a pretty balanced build. I mean, you got Harrison Burton at 5,100, and you got all dudes over 8K in this lineup, leaving about $100 on the table.
Lineup.
Yeah, I like that lineup a lot.
Do you want to do one more build here and just get really weird with it?
Let's do it.
Any thoughts, guys, on roster construction wise, where the field just isn't going to be going?
Let's see. Yeah, let's sort by ownership. I don't like Jimmy. Don't like Noah. Josh. You could play some Dylan. Dylan's what? I saw he was down there 6%.
Yeah.
6%. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't be against that, and I wouldn't be against Logano. He's 10%. So if you played Dylan Logano,
and then from here we can just get chalky as hell if we wanted to.
Oh yeah, you could just get chalky. Yeah.
So Elliot, you want to go Blaney here?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That leaves us with 7,400. We still got plenty of room. I think we could go, value hunting here and grab we might be able to get somebody in this 9K range here, I think. Right? Do you want to just let me just throw Harrison Burton in here just as a placeholder to see what we can get, and we're probably around this Bowman, Bush, Gibbs, Reddick, Busher area. We've got Blaney.
Oh, wow.
We got Blaney, in the top 4. Can we do Reddick and Blaney together? Is that a no-no? What do you think?
I definitely don't think it is. I mean, there's 400 laps in this, so you could easily see both of these guys lead 100 laps.
We could do Reddick and then replace Burton with our Suarez.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Max it out. Dylan, Logano, Elliott, Blaney, Suarez, Reddick. Not bad, guys. I feel like these builds fit together pretty well.
Yeah.
What do you learn after we built some lineups? Where do you think the field is going to be? What does it take to get different here? Is it a roster construction thing, playing a couple guys together that may not, typically we want to play together? Or, if we get 1 or 2 under 20% owned guys, is that enough for us to get different in this big GPP?
That I think your key is to get a guy that's projected to be lower owned, like somebody that, like an Austin Cindric that we think he overqualified. Maybe they do stick towards the front, maybe just try to gamble a little bit. You got your Noah Gregsons, your Briscoes, them guys could hang around. You never know.
Yeah. Allmendinger has a lot of track time around this place, 24 starts. So I think it's key. Just look for that one guy that's going to be different, get chalky.
Yeah.
So Sterling, when it comes to rules, are you hand building? You're doing 20 lineups. Are you going to hand build a lot of those, or are you going to optimize a handful?
I'll hand build all of those.
So mentally, let's just say, we're hand building. Mentally, do you have any mental rules where you're trying to get, 2 from this group, 3 from this group, or are you just feeling it out on this race a little bit more than you typically would?
Probably 75% of my lineups are going to start with one of them guys inside the top 4.
Got it. So I'm probably going to make a group, minus Bush, and get min 1 of top 4 guys. That's probably the way to do it. You think? Are you doing 2 of those guys ever? Are you allowing for 2?
Yeah, I'd allow for 2, yeah. I would start off with that as my first group, then I'd make a second group that has Larson, Bell, Chastain, Elliott. There's at least one of them guys in.
Yeah, I would probably extend it to Hamlin.
Yeah.
I'm high on Hamlin. I like I said, he could beat you.
He starts 6. I can definitely see that.
All right, wrapping this show up. Any bold takes on how this race is going to end? Any interesting thoughts on random dudes that could win this?
I'm gonna say Hendrick finishes 1, 2, 3, 4.
I could definitely see that. Tyson, I'll put you on the spot. Who's your? We've been doing this for a little bit. Who's your favorite driver? Do you have one yet?
I gotta say probably Elliott. Just based off what all you guys have said, I think he's gonna take this one here.
I mean, overall, is he like your? Do you have a go-to guy? Do you have like a,
I hate to say it, but I know that Hamlin's kind of like a villain. Like, at least from what I could tell, I kind of like Hamlin, dude. I don't know. I've been watching a little bit of his podcast and some of his interviews. I don't know why everybody hates him. I mean, does everybody hate him? Like, am I crazy?
I used to, and then it seems like the Tom Brady thing, where it's like the older he gets and the older I get, the more I kind of appreciate him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's me maturing, him maturing. I don't
think it's him maturing.
I don't think it's him maturing, but I can appreciate him more now. It used to be I couldn't stand the guy, but now I can appreciate him more.
My bold take is Hamlin pulls this out. He just hangs around in the top 10 and somehow finds a way to pull this one out. All right, we appreciate.
I see that.
Yep. All right, we appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week. Throw us a like, comment, jump in that Discord. We'll see you guys later.
All right, see ya.